if after Pastor Willie C. Barnes rejected me in Macedonia Missionary Baptist Church in 2008, I established myself inside of the civil and criminal courthouses in Seminole and Orange counties in the state of Florida on August 12, 2008 at 10:40 in the morning, as well as inside of the federal courthouse in the Middle District of Florida on February 20th in 2018 at 9:20 in the morning, then am I not the cornerstone for whom was rejected? Which one would I be? Am I the stone, or am I the rejected stone? So did not the spiritual world have to reject me before I could use the Bible to show myself approved? So now if I establish my religion in accordance with Section 3 of the Florida Constitution that says there shall be no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting or penalizing the free exercise thereof, religious freedom shall not justify practices inconsistent with public morals, peace, or safety. No revenue of the state or any political subdivision or agency thereof shall ever be taken from the public treasury directly or indirectly in aid of any church, sect, or religious denomination, or in aid of any sectarian institution in the civil and criminal courthouses in Seminole and Orange counties in the state of Florida, nor in the federal courthouse in the Middle District of Florida. So if Macedonia Missionary Baptist Church in Edenville, Florida, or no church in the United States of America is paying taxes on collections, then they are in violation of, in Florida, they're in violation of Section 3 of the Florida Constitution, but in the court of law, they are in violation of Amendment 1 to the United States Constitution, freedom of religion and assembly. So if your government is now aiding and abetting your churches in taking money out of the treasury, then would not the church and the state be guilty of violating everyone's First Amendment rights, which says Congress shall make no law respecting any establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof? So if they are now allowing them to not pay taxes, then are they now have a law respecting religion, the establishment of it? See, because if you are not if the United States of America doesn't have enough money to take care of its citizens, but yet it'll give churches tax-free income, and it'll give businesses, multi-billion-dollar corporations, tax breaks, but yet it'll levy a tax on us, right, according to Amendment 16, from any income derived. See, so this is what they doing. They stealing from us because we as individuals have to pay income tax. Then after the state and the United States, if you in any other state that have state tax, the state tax you, then the federal government tax you, and then you have to pay a tithe to your religious institution. That's excessive fines, because what services are you being rendered? You can't go to court and sue your elected officials because they say that they have immunity. But you saying, well, how you have immunity when you ask for the job? And then the job you asked for immunity when you violate it. But did you bring that to us, we the people? See, this is what I'm telling the people. if your government has been manipulating you since its form to get you to terrorize its enemies, whether they was Dr. Martin Luther King, Mr. Fred Hampton, Minister Malcolm X, Mr. Huey P. Newton, you have used the police to harass your citizens. So now that you have used the police to harass me, when would your history, America, be used against you in the court of law like you use your citizens' records against your citizens? So when will you have a criminal record when you give your citizens a criminal record, but you say you have immunity from having a criminal record, although you violating the same constitution your citizens violating when you put them in prison? So aren't you royalty once you become an elected official? So therefore, that's why I hit you with the Declaration of Independence, because in the Declaration of Independence, it says that the king was using the courts, and then the citizens couldn't sue the king nor his armies or subjects or his diplomats, and they could do whatever they want to you, but you couldn't defend yourself from them because you will be defending yourself against the king. So now now you have levied a tax through Congress on our income in accordance with Amendment 16 that says Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived without apportionments among the several states and without regard to any census or numeration, right? Now, but see now, if they're a church, you now say that source that they income derive is not taxable. That's a crime. See, so this is what I'm saying. If your religious preachers is now aiding and abetting the state in shortening the coffers, then wouldn't that be the 30 pieces of silver that the church treasury gave to Judas to betray Jesus? So now wouldn't the church now be being paid by the state to keep their church members ignorant? See, wouldn't that be a payback? Money is exchanging hands indirectly. Look now, here it is. Now it say that you're not supposed to help directly or indirectly, right? And now what this is the federal freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. This is your First Amendment rights as well as your Bill of Rights, the First Amendment of your Bill of Rights as well as your United States constitutional rights. And it says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridge the freedom of speech. So that means you have the right to speak and say whatever you want, but you have to be held responsible to what you say. And it says, or of the press, or of the right of the people peacefully to assemble, or to petition the government for redress of grievances. So now, that forced me to have to tell my own story. See, now, this is my testimony. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just open it up, and I'm now going to read you my testimony. Yeah. See? So that way, I'm letting you know that, now this is page 94, I just opened it up. And it says, to come as a peasant to an archangel or fallen descendant because the fallen by the biblical evidence has risen to God's status. So the God of one will have to raise within the many for whom were and are still being deceived by the fallen angels, archangels, for whom has risen as a God within the Garden of Eden. But will the righteous peasant ever rise as evil has rose within question, or opposition within the Garden of Eden, and has stolen the Garden of Eden itself, for which was promised by the Father to the Father's creations. But how can a father avenge the death of a son other than by saving the family of the son? Okay, I of fatherly nature saw only of my nature's sight, and only acted within my own nature, for which I of taught understanding grew to overstand and provide the judgment needed. They of common knowledge will see me commonly, but you for whom read of me will see the spirit of me, for which they for whom witness me live would have missed. You would have had the eternal. Wait a minute. You would have the eternal me, and they of common thought would have wasted the physical me with their false judgment of me, for which has allowed my soul to speak to you without interruption from my resurrected spirit locked within my body's prison, for whom warden is unknown. But my co-conspirators are duly noted as I struggle to live life's fullest, of moments of my finest moments, because there are no moments finer than the moment for which one now finds oneself now within, because one has one's own attention within this moment, and within the quiet of the moment one can hear one's childhood, when one spoke of things to come, before people spoke of invisible barriers not seen to the newest of minds, just born fresh and full of hope. Why would one dare to speak against a born gift, for whom speaks not of this world? The new birth of the child should have shown the gift of birth with child. I of child's newness spoke of my freedom's quest, for which crashed within the court of law, and I have labored to give birth to the gift that I was born with. My delivery room was denied, as they have told us of the biblical mother of Jesus Christ being denied of a place to give Jesus Christ birth. The mother of Jesus Christ was denied, and the father of the dream was also denied. The mother of Jesus Christ was denied a place to give birth to God's son, because they had given birth because they had given birth and understood of its process, but they were not picked by God's process of his arrival of his birth. So God came through woman of earth, as the truth now born has come through Mother Earth to birth through the belly of the devil's deceit of Mother Earth's children unseen, but yet still written, spoken, but not yet heard, because of the noisy confusion that blocks the eye lobe, for which would carry me to the root of their brain's canal, so that the truth can be planted, not as one tree of knowledge was planted and duplicated 99 times within the Garden of Eden, but one tree planted upon every mind, duplicated how many ever times needed, because it would have been recorded by the creator of said story, written and directed and forced to star in by the many defendants of said plaintiff. The body is not as important as the lesson for which the body shows, but for the lesson to continue, the village must once within this generational movie save the innocent. How else can the door to a sighted future become open? They who close it has built a glass door around it. They let you look at it, and some even get to live it. But if they don't play, be, okay, it's supposed to be by, but it say be the rules of the door keeper, they find themselves on the other side of the door. But hey, you know, I only had a half a semester of typing. So when I'm reading this, but I'm gonna tell y'all some of these quotation marks and periods I didn't write. See, that's why I show you that the devil is in my testimony. But now that when B I make, that's my fault. That it's supposed to been by. But see, you know, this is page 95. But see, this is what I wanted y'all to do, right? I wanted y'all to read it because it's too emotional for me to read. See, that's why sometimes I have to say, excuse me, because I go back and I could remember the anguish I was in. Because all of this is when somebody denied me. See, that's why, you know, like when I was asking for help, they was denying me, telling me about Jesus or telling me about this. And I'm saying, well, man, I'm trying to get back to my wife and my kids. And now my wife say, well, we ain't been together in 10 years, but now it's 15 years. So now my so-called friends destroyed my marriage. But I'm cool with it because if my wife can't see her husband, then maybe I'm able to see my wife. But I hate to say it, but then I gotta, like, if the evidence is real, you have to accept the realness of the evidence. So if she would let somebody keep me away from her this long, but then I'm saying I gotta look at the severity of the situation and maybe I don't know. See, but when you say something to somebody, they hear what you say. And you should always say what you mean because you could end up hurting yourself in the end. Because if I believe what you're saying and I move on with my life, why would I come back to you when you just hurt me? But anyway, I'm on, you know, but that's just something else. So it say they let you look at it, and some even get to live it. But if they don't play and they say B, and that's when it's supposed to be play B the rules, C is by the rules of the doorkeeper, they find themselves on the other side of the door. But one for whom walks within one's own light is not afraid of the light for which they bring. They try to tell the darkness of heart that it is light for which has turned them blind with rage, and they are on the wrong side of the door. And when it closes, they will be on the side for which they would have been denying. But they of faith within an angel, once cast from the golden arches of heaven, has fallen to their father's castor, and are cast as their father was cast. But why do my story of present life has no power of life? Did I not cast? Did I not say within my own magnificence? Am I not as great as the greatest that ever really lived? Am I not the only Israelite left because there are not any beneath me? Because I need the least of these, So am I the Israelite, slave to even those once enslaved and set free? I know, said before by me, but repeated by me as the disbelief of me, of they who pray, but allow slavery of anyone, let alone one for whom rose before all and fell before the sight of all, as I stood not bent in defense of my Israelite status of slavery ancestry dated back to Moses and delivered unto my people within their Bill of Rights granted to all, within the Exodus by the leader of the party Exodus, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., because of the noted history of the educational re-enslavement of a group of people by another group of people, for which has run that group of people back into a slave state of mind, where an exodus is again needed, for which this time would allow all within the exodus of modern day existence to exist for. See, now this mine, I wrote this. See, that this ain't nobody else. I wrote it. This my testimony. You can buy it, but you will see the devil all in it. But that's what I'm saying. Would you know it's the devil and you would think it's me? Okay, it says, which has allowed us a slavery ancestry to be returned to the corral of slavery, like cattle returned to the corral. And we of this journey must now build a settlement so that they within their own mental wilderness can find their way back from their own minds' enslavement that has allowed the us of them, for which is the you of me, to lead us, for which are you, us, and they back as them of they to the future you, as well as the me of my future, are led back into the thorns of slavery's cage. Now, you see what I'm saying? See, I'm saying I am you, you are me, we gonna be them, which is our future. And if we do not get out of what we're in now, they gonna be in it. And that's what I'm saying. So see now, because my friends and family refused to see the situation that I was trying to lead us out, we are all in the situation. So now, if they don't go back to August 12, 2008 at 10:40 in the morning, mentally, how are we going to undo what their ignorance has done since August 12, 2008 at 10:40 in the morning? See, my family and friends, what can they do now once it done got out to the public? So see, now everybody's trying to survive what they believed. But what about me? See, who had to survive what they believed and still telling the truth that they didn't believe. So that's what I'm telling you. See, it's the thorns of slavery's cage. But how can so many for whom teach of yesterday's past be led back into the past for which they now teach of? See, and then I say, was they only walking us back to their bosses' home, speaking of only how their bosses have been good to them through the vision of their own enslavement as they return us to their slavery's goodness, as they lead us back for the ransom of Judas's 30 pieces of silver? The story real simple will become simple, simply heard. The story real simple will become simply heard, and the simplest of minds will be able to easily apply the simplest of thoughts to the most complicated, the simplest of thoughts to the most complicated of problems, because within one's simplest of thoughts, one would be able to place blame on the shoulders of those for whom should shoulder the blame, because they of simplest of minds would see within their most simplest thought that the problems, complications are not their complications, but are the problems of those for whom has caused the complications. So why would one of the simplest understanding grab what is not theirs? They of the simplest of understandings would understand to grab a hold to prosperity, because that is what is owed. But because they of the simplest of understandings would have placed the blame properly, as they were also grabbing prosperity from the devil's hand left with cookies in it, and jar open with crumbs, upon the face of the cheek as well as lips of those of devil's ancestry, as the crumbs of the devil's devilment lead back to the cookie jar of devil's deception, open at the root of the Garden of Eden, and placed open so that all would be of Moses' descent, as God's finger once showed to only Moses upon the mountaintop, where the laws were written, as the finger of God points to the devil's hand within the cookie jar, through the travel of truth, and justice given as a testimony from the chair of the plaintiff, for whom was in front of a judge, but had to turn judge, because the judge had turned gangster in front of a born gangster, for whom found citizenship through a woman's love, and had made citizens from that love, had to return back from gangster to love and back to citizen, without losing my citizenship, while taking the citizenship of those for whom are currently trying to take my citizenship, as all watch, and I am not of special blood, if any who currently live is said to have the blood of royalty. I, with the name of Castle, was born after a man named King, and the man named King was named after his father. But I am named off of my father's name of Tom, for which left the door open for senior, for which stands for the first of two, the other being junior to the first. And if names are of symbols, then symbols carry messages. And if the one for whom came before a castle was named King, then the one named Castle after a king should live within the name sake of a castle. If they of name rose to their birthright of king, all within their own name of castle, then how can a born king given the birth name of castle not be the king born to live within castle's walls? If I am castle named so appropriately, and I have shown myself to love the village of my kingdom as much as I love myself, from the highest heights of them, however, so brief, into the lowest depths that one could be forced to live within, as one's life is taken within the walls of justice by the judge, as one has one's own good sense of mind, as one is shown one's own depth by many different looks from within the windows of one's depth, from the many different angles given by those for whom are the silent grim reapers, for whom track my soul. But I of Indian blood also track the evil spirits to save the many souls of my of my tribe's past, present, and future, as I follow the tracker who tracks me within my future from their present and from my past, for which I have shown himself to have promise within, as I have gave promise to my village's tribal leaders, as well as the children of my tribe. Why would my story of bravery be any different than the bravery of Geronimo, for whom was born on or about 1829 and grew within history's pages until he, for whom was earthly named Geronimo, became known to the world by the spirit for which the living Apache leader of the CHIRICHHUA Indian tribe left. So that's his tribe. See, I had I looked this all up so I know. See, but like I say, man, these pronunciations get me. Indian tribe left upon the world's footprint. We of many histories should not pick of one history because one of picked history would choose to relive made up history instead of make history out of the crumbs of history, given within the pieces of its own ownership of the piece of history allowed to become historical, and not create historically of the ownership of their own history out of the pieces of history given by the piece, but nevertheless given of the past history. One must take their God-given sense and make sense out of nonsense so that sensible sense can be created. So see, now, that's me, man. To me, that's amazing. Because, man, I had to overcome denial that looked like betrayal to then show the separates between the denial and the love. And I had to love it all to be good, so I can then defeat the evil with the love. See, and if you lose that, right? See, it's like the blood of royalty. I am not of special blood, if any who currently live is said to have the blood of royalty. We're saying, if I don't establish the divinity in my divine blood, then I'll never be royal. That's what I'm saying. See, I'm saying that the people that I went up against is royal. Well, how can I be royal if I defeat them? Then wouldn't I have to be divine to beat royalty?